first question says Frank is on edge. He clearly is not being himself at this moment. He snapped at his wife for walking behind him. Do you feel sorry at this point for what Frank is going through on a mental or emotional level? Do I feel sorry? No, I don't think so. I don't feel sorry for Frank at all. Um, he brought this on himself. He deserved it, and he deserves another beatdown, honestly, for what he did to Malia. And I get the desperation of his actions, but there's just certain places you don't go. There's just certain things you don't do, and this was one of them. So he deserves all that and more. Um, yeah, he deserves it. I don't care. Sandy need to keep going off on him. She don't even know why she's going off on him. But whatever. He deserves all that energy.
Give
So,
him
and I
that
hope
work.
Malia, well, being a daughter, whatever, you're supposed to be respectful to your parents. But I hope Malia finds the courage to give him some of that snappy attitude too,
That's right.
because of the way that he has done her. So no, I don't feel sorry for Frank at all. Sorry, not sorry.
What are your thoughts, Alicia?
Okay, I don't know why that took so long. I don't feel sorry for Frank. He stole, if somebody steal from the store and get caught and they go to jail and they're sad about going to jails. Oh, I feel bad. You got to go to jail. No, it's called a consequence. So he's on edge, but I think he's scared. There might be a little,
Yeah. There's
definitely some PTSD going on here.
Oh,
I mean, this man was beat within an inch of his life, and his attacker is coming to his home, and he's offering up his daughter to his attacker. That'd have me on some mess too. But at the same time, I don't feel sorry for him. I personally, if it was me and they're like, I'm beat, and then they're like, yeah, so now I'm done with you. Bring me your daughter or your son, depending on what. I'll be like, go on and finish me off. I ain't bringing.
I'm a writer. We don't do that.
Just finish me off. My kids will have me a nice little service. But yeah, I think he's definitely more. It's frightened. I don't like. There might be a little bit of anger just as a man. You know what I mean?
Kyrie, what's so funny? You dying over there? Like, what did she say?
Because I'm upset at this. Oh, just finish me off. My kids will have a nice service for me. No, unchain me. Let me get some licks in. At least give me a fair fight if I'm going.
Oh, I'm gonna fight back for sure. I'm going down. I'm going down fighting. But yeah,
have a nice service.
I'll be like, if you could just let me down so I could try and defend myself, but go on,
die with a little bit of dignity.
Right,
with a little bit of dignity. He's sitting there dying, hanging from a chain in a warehouse somewhere. They find my body just hanging there. And I'm dead. Like,
gagged and bound. No thanks.
I might use my feet though and try and kick or something, but no, I'll be like, yeah, go on ahead and finish me off. But like I was saying, as a man, to get beat up by another man, it's kind of like that wolf thing, like that alpha, beta type thing. You know how men feel like, yeah, I could take any other, I could take any man.
Sure,
and then they get their butt whooped. And not only get your butt whooped, but yeah, and I'm gonna take your daughter. Yeah, he's scared.
Your child.
Yeah, I'm gonna whoop your tail. I'm gonna take your child. It is. That's why I'm like, brother Chan, he bold. He really is a triad. Like, on some next level.
And Sandy act like she want to go with Chan too. So
honey,
no. Sandy's like, look, Malia, if you don't want him, boo, I'm gonna have me a little thing on the side.
Yeah, I know. Have me a little taste of that.
Frank's like, hold on a minute, you gonna have a what? She's like, after you die. No, she wasn't gonna wait till you that was gonna be her little thing. So, but no, to answer the question, I don't feel sorry for Frank. It's his consequence. And I don't, he is on edge, but I don't think it's like an anger edge. I think he's frightened. His attacker is coming to his house and he has no power over none of this. He can't stop it. He can't be like, hey, you know what? F you. He does try to pop off to Chan, and Chan chuckles because he's like, I already whooped your ass. Like, I don't, well, you talking tough now, but that's not what you were saying at the warehouse. Yeah. So, yeah, his mind is probably a little bit everywhere. But again, like Kyrie said, he brought that on himself.
Very much so.
This ain't something that just happened to. He's not an innocent victim here. So
No.
yeah.
I agree with both of you guys. Completely. I agree with you guys. I mean, on one level, there's like, wow, Frank is scared. He's hurt. He's doped up on medication. I get it. But at the same time, like, we're here in this situation because of what you did. You're out gambling. And I understand, like, he has this big wedding that he has to put on this Rose City front for and everything. But baby, you stole your daughter's money. You took this other man's money, like you just kept making bad decisions and choices. You did gambled up her money, and then like, okay, well, let me go and get some money from somebody else because he had a connection, and then you take that money like, well, I got a good tip on a horse. Like, when do you just stop? And so now what you're dealing with is fear, frustration, anger, resentment, and I don't feel bad for Frank. Like you guys said, this is his punishment. It's like if you were caught and you had to go to prison or jail for what you did, like this is you really having to like sit in your juices. And I don't think that like he ever really thought it was going to be this bad. Like usually not. Like now you have to give up your daughter. You have to welcome this man into like your family. And so Frank he's big, like he big mad, in this chapter. Like he's upset. He acting petty as hell. He talking little junk. Like Frank's doing a lot. So no, I don't feel bad for Frank. I feel like Frank is really experiencing what he needs to experience. He's a human being and he's living out these human experiences. He's getting a taste of what he needs to feel. So that's my thoughts. Alicia?
Well, the second question is mine, and it says, I like Sandy. She has some fire. Is this where Malia gets it from? She handled Frank's bad attitude very well. Yes, Lord, she did. And I loved every minute of it. Yeah, she didn't, I guess recoil. Is that the word? Where you're, oh, babe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What can I do? I feel like the rest of the women in Rose City, the wives, snobs at Rose City, probably crack at the slightest. My husband is upset with me type thing. Where she's right. Like, "Oh, you upset? Oh, you mad? Okay, let me give you a little something. I'm gonna give you a reason." And I like that. So, I think that is where Malia gets that fire from. It definitely ain't Frank. Frank, other than him being on edge right now because he got beat up, it seems like he's more of the, mild-mannered, kind of, timid man. He works and just takes care of his family. He's also a thief. But I think that fight, like Malia, she's real, she knows how to handle herself and stuff, but you set that girl off and she will read you like a book to the gods. Yeah. And so I think that fire, like when she got sick of Mike and, she, she'll pop off. Get away from me, blah, 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 blah. Like she will pop off. And I think that little bit, that comes from Sandy. I don't think it comes from Frank. So, yeah, I think that's where Malia gets her fire from.
I agree. I think you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, I definitely think Malia gets that fire from her mother. Her mother is Sandy's is her own woman, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the other women in her society, they don't really like her because she's not going to bend or conform to anybody else. Sandy works within what she has to work with. It's like people say, you color within the lines. She's in between, she's in the lines, but she's outside the lines. She does what she wants to do. She kind of makes her own way. And, in this scene, you just see like she came in and she was trying to be, really supportive of Frank. And then when he started acting crazy, she's like, hey, if there's a problem, let me know, like, what's going on? How could I help you? But what we're not going to do is we're not going to tolerate disrespect. We're not going to tolerate you running your mouth. So she was very quick with it. So hopefully Malia will adopt a little bit more of her mother in that respect, because I feel like with Malia, usually people have to kind of push her a little bit before she just kind of gets with the program, where Sandy was like, I'm with the, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, oh, okay, you said something. Okay, let me fix you. Let me tune you up a little bit, right? So I think that definitely Malia is like her mom in a lot of ways. And I'm excited to see her kind of embrace a little bit more of that. I think Sandy has some toxic ways, of course, but we're going to see some of that. But I also think that Sandy has ways that have helped her to adapt to her surroundings and be the boss that she is. So that's why the women hate her, but they also want to be her too. Like, Sandy's loved and she's feared, you know, they want to be around her, but she makes other people in her circle really step it up, because they're like, well, we know when Sandy step out, she about to really come and bring it, you know? And there are people like that who are like, I like you, but I don't like the fact that you're stepping on my neck. I don't like the fact that you're applying pressure to me. Not that you're saying anything like, you have to do this. No, sometimes you're just your spirit, just your aura, who you are. It applies pressure when you enter certain rooms. Sandy applies pressure. You know, Russell Wilson said he wanted to be with a woman who would tilt the room. She would shift the room. And he said he felt like Sierra has the energy. Sandy's the type of person, she enters the room, baby, it's shifting. It's accommodating for her energy. The next question is mine. It says, Chan seemed to be laying it on thick for Sandy. Do you think he was worried she would not like him? Question. Have you ever met someone's mother and she didn't like you? So when the doorbell rang, of course, Frank was still fidgeting with his tie and pissed off and mad and going on. So Sandy's like, let me go downstairs and I'll get the door. So she goes and she opens the door for Chan, and she's like, ooh, but she lets him on in, and Chan is just like, oh, you have a beautiful home and all this stuff. And they're kind of having like, interactions, and he's just very, being really respectful and complimenting her and the home and everything. Do I think he's laying it on thick? I think that's just Chan's natural way of being. I think he's a charmer. I think he's a very, very charming man. I think that when, you have some men that when they get around women, they come alive. You're like, sir, like, you have some men that they don't care if it's somebody's grandmama. Baby, they about to put the ones and the twos on her. So T always makes fun of me, okay? This is something he always gets on me about. He's like, what is it with you and older men? I said, what do you mean? And he's always like, you just be flirting with them and you just be touchy with them. And I'm like, I do. And I'm like, I think I do a little bit. I don't know what it is with me and older men. They be like 60, 70. I'd be like, because I be playing games with her, with Kyrie's father-in-law. He'd be like, is that my woman? And I'd be like, is that Cash App Daddy? And so we go back and forth, and I'm still feeling some kind of way. So you make sure that when this is released, you set him down and be like, Daddy Price, like, where is the funds though? You're talking about somebody being your woman. 2 + 2, it should be equaling 4, and I haven't seen 0. We're gonna have to talk about that. So T be like, you just be like, you be a little flirtation with them. You be like touching their arm, and I'd be like, I think what it is that with older people, you just want to make them feel good. You want about, oh, I see that little step you had over there. You step in the name of love to that little R. Kelly song. Okay. Like, you be kind of like boosting up their head a little bit, making them feel good. So I think that Chan is a charmer. I think that when he gets in the room, he don't care if it's Sophia Petrillo, baby. He's like, come have this dance with me. I think he's just naturally very charming as a human being. So do I feel like he was laying on thick? I don't think he was laying on thick. I think that's just who he is. I just think that's just the man that he is. I just think that when something is what he thinks it ought to be, he has no problems giving compliments. He has no problems, telling people good things about themselves. That's just him. Some people will say that's a manipulative quality. I mean, if you're using it to manipulate, then yeah. But if it's the truth, but you enjoy making people feel good about themselves, and I don't see the problem in that. I definitely do think that he wanted Malia's mom to like him, but like, what wasn't there to like? He's successful. He's good looking. He can dress his tail off. He's not married. He doesn't have any children, so he's not involved with anybody. It's not like he'd be bringing in that level of drama. So I think, he already had an edge. He already had an advantage in the situation. Next question was, have I ever had somebody's mother who didn't like me? Yeah. Yeah. So did. And I mean, the reality was like, the lady didn't like me and she never like gave me an opportunity. She didn't want to speak. And I think that for some mothers, they're super protective of their sons, and nobody's ever going to be, good enough for their boys. And I love my boys, I love my daughter, and I don't want to be that way. Do I have high hopes for them? Do I have high standards for them? Absolutely. I'm not going to be rude to anybody. That just it starts to become strange where mothers are jealous of, he's giving his love to her. Well, he should be, because he can't be cuddled up with me like that. That is not what we're doing. So, proper place and time of evolution and evolving. And so, yeah, I've had people's moms not like me, a couple people's moms, and I hadn't even really spoken to them. Like, oh, hi, how are you doing today, ma'am? And it's just like, evil eye on 1,000. And it's like, I won't be talking to your mother. I won't be meeting her again. And I made sure I avoided her, after that. And maybe that was like the plan of action to like scare people. But yeah, sometimes people's moms and dads don't necessarily like the people who are coming around, because they feel like maybe they're not ready to feel like they're losing that part of their child, where now their child is super into this relationship and they don't have no room for me in their lives. But baby, I be having conversations with my sons. They're 13 and 15. So we'll see what that looks like in 10 years. Right. But we do have these conversations, and I'm like, I don't care who's in your life. I'm still your mom. You know what I mean? Like, I need a phone call daily. I need to make sure my child's okay. All this mess, like, talk to my mom or my dad on the phone twice a month. Not me. And I'm not no helicopter, but I definitely want to make sure that you're okay. Like, because my boys are going to be going off to college here soon. And I'm definitely encouraging for them to go to some HBCUs and, and do their sports thing over there. And I'm just like, y'all going to be on the other side of the country. Pick up the phone and let mommy know that you're not out here acting crazy in these streets. I need to know that you guys are okay. But that's that. What about you, ladies?
I don't think Chan is worried at all that Sandy doesn't like him, and I definitely agree. I definitely agree about what you said, that he's just a natural charmer. That just seems to be, his character when he gets around women, females in general. But I also think that Chan is very forward thinking. He's a planner, and he knows.
Definitely.
He was raised in a traditional family, and he knows how impressionable mothers can be on their daughters. So I do think that he was laying it on a little thicker, because he wanted Sandy to put in a good word. He charmed her up real nice. He's like, yeah, Malia, you got to do this, girl. There's no question to it. This is your husband now. So I think that was that extra layer of cheese that Chan was throwing out.
He's still in the deal, baby.
Exactly. Have I ever met someone's mother that didn't like me? Nobody that I was in a relationship with, if that's what we're talking about. No. Everyone's mothers have loved me for the most part. I was thinking of someone's mom, Corenna, you might remember. She actually told me that she liked me more than her own son. Oh. And she wished that I was her real daughter and that he was not her child.
Well, praise God, he did something right. Praise him. Praise him and lift him up.
And so I was just like, oh, okay. She was not happy with him at all. So, but yeah, I'll leave it at
that. I don't think Chan was laying anything on thick. Chan is very bold, and I didn't see him like trying to. I don't think he cared really whether he already had his mind made up. Malia's his, and he don't care, right? So I kind of seen like the little stuff he was kind of saying, especially since he would kind of smirk and chuckle at Frank. I thought he was kind of taunting him, like, yeah, you got a beautiful home. And, I see where Malia gets her beauty from and stuff. I felt like Chan was taunting him. Like, yeah, nigga, I'm all up in your house. Now I'm in your house. I'm about to take your daughter, your wife like me. Like, what you gonna do, bro? Like, that's almost what I wouldn't want to owe Chan no money. That Negro is
not at all.
But that was my little take on it. I don't think, he was respectful, and because he's so fine, I'm sure he smelled good, looked good, and everything. He didn't have to lay nothing on thick.
Baby, he walked in that room and he tilted.
He walked in that room and demanded it, so it didn't matter. He could have walked in there like, "Yo, what up? I'm here," like, and they still would have loved him. You know what I mean? Because he's
that energy.
And so I felt like he was taunting Frank, which is funny. But no, I don't think she was worried. He was worried about her liking him. I don't even think he cared at that point. It was just, that was another part of his little game with Frank. So have you ever met someone's mother that didn't like you? Absolutely. And for no reason at all. Back to the church thing, a lot of me and Corenna's trauma come from church, unfortunately.
Trauma from church.
Yes. I started talking to this little boy at church. Well, he wasn't little. We were 14.
He was little.
I was respectful, because my mama raised me right, and sister so-and-so and mother so-and-so, titles and everything. And she just took one look at me and was like, I don't like her. Well, a lot of folk in church didn't like me, but she just was like, it didn't matter. I was, hey, sister, I'm not going to put her name out there, but, blah, blah, blah. And and
maybe God will finally deliver her and save her soul.
Right. And
you're being mean to kids. You ain't saved, sis. You're not saved.
They were in the leadership. They were in, her husband and her were
Those
like
are the worst ones.
Roles. Yeah, in the church. And so I'm like, I could see if I was this, my mom didn't even let me wear makeup until I was 16. So I wasn't running around,
Oh, you're on mute, babe. Mute. Yeah.
Sorry. I wasn't running around being fast or nothing like that. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't even allowed to wear makeup.
A little red lip, baby. That's too fast for these
That
folks.
Was too much. Too much. So, and Heidi wasn't having none of that. Sister Heidi didn't play. So the fact that I was very respectful and, I don't know. She just took one look at me and was like, nope. I don't like you. She made sure I knew it. If I asked her a question, either she wouldn't answer or she would answer like in a
flat out nasty. The woman was just rude.
She was nasty for no reason at all. Like even my mom had to talk to her about it, and then that's me and him broke up after that. But
well, she didn't want to be exposed for the demon she truly is.
I think that's what it was. My mom told me, she's like, "It's something wrong with that woman." Sometimes she said the devil goes to church. So
he does. Maybe he dresses nice too.
Yeah,
she's the scriptures.
Like, you're not. We moving to Lakewood anyway, so I was moving from Tacoma to Lakewood anyway, and we just went ahead and split. So, but I think it was highly influenced by his mammy.
His mammy.
His mammy.
Mammy.